rules or state labor laws, and how will you invest in the Office of Wage Standards so that it can better serve workers in low-wage industries? My question. Okay, thank you.
First is Kevin Delio.
Thank you very much, Kathy, for the very important question. This is something that's near and dear to my heart, as my mother worked as a housekeeper and also at a convalescent home as well. And her wages were stolen all the time. And when she passed away, my mother passed away making $4 an hour back in 1994. So she passed away at a very young age. This is an issue that I've been working at since I was in the California State Legislature, offering measures dealing with wage theft. I've also authored measures to protect hotel workers when they were actually lifting those 200 or 100 pound plus heavenly beds, you know, with the cushions on top. A lot of folks actually had mocked us for moving that type of piece of legislation. Also, for the first time in the history of the state of California, this year, farm workers, everything that you eat today that is picked by a farm worker, legally and officially have overtime in the state of California, because the measure that I pushed out of the California State Senate. This is a measure, like I said, that is near and dear to my heart. And we need to use the mayoralship, the executive branch, to do everything with our power to make sure your wages are not stolen.
Thank you. And next is Mike Buren.
Thanks, Aki. And of course, we worked together on the issue I alluded to very briefly at the outset. Home health care workers do work that very few people want to do. And as the son of a very senior citizen, I get how essential that work is. When their wages are ripped off, we have to stand up. And I did that as city attorney with a huge resolution of a case that got restitution for those home health care workers. Car wash workers, another example of folks who get ripped off all the time. In our office, we achieved what I think is the biggest resolution ever in a car wash wage theft case. These are the kinds of examples of leadership that I'll continue to bring to the mayor's office. Yeah, the Office of Wage Standards doesn't have enough teeth, Kathy, associated with it. How do we get more resources for it? Well, for one thing, when we go after perpetrators of wage theft, there can be penalties assessed on them, and those penalties can be funneled right back in to enforcement of wage theft actions. Thanks very much.
Next is Gina Viola.
So my platform calls for a $39 minimum wage. And it's about time that we pay people what they're worth. We've watched corporations get richer and richer on stolen wages year after year. And there is money to do this. You know, for the bigger corporations, they can pay $39 an hour. They just refuse to do it. As an employer myself, one of the things I pride myself on is following labor laws, making sure that people get overtime when they're working and that they're paid fairly and weekly. So I know firsthand what it is to take care of employees, and it starts with a good living wage, $39 an hour.
Next, we have Joe Buscaino.
Yes, the answer is yes. If you look at what...
I'm so sorry, I got that mixed up. Next is Karen Bass. Excuse me.
Well, I agree with Joe. Yes. I do believe that should be enforced. But here's the thing, it's easy to say it should be enforced. The question is, how is it going to be enforced? So one of the things that I would do would be to support the community organizations, because it's not enough to have the government enforce. Yes, the government should do that, but the government is not going to be big enough. But I do think funding the community-based organizations that keep an eye on these things, that are actually working with the population, is the best way to make sure that it's enforced. The other thing is that I know that there's the public health councils that are funded at the county level, but I do think that the solution to a lot of our problems in this city is for the city and the county to work much closer. So the public health councils that make sure that health standards are enforced, especially related to COVID. Thank you.
And now we have Joe Buscaino.
Yes, of course, absolutely. If we look at wage theft, who does wage theft target? It targets people of color, usually in low-wage sectors. And in my background in law enforcement, not only am I going to go after the criminals on the streets, but also the lawbreaker employers who are taking advantage of our employees. And like Karen, I agree, we have to continue to elevate and help the community-based organizations who are on the ground advocating for our workers. I did so and have a track record of working with Trilla when we regulated street vending. Street vendors who were there working were targeted by law enforcement, and today they can move and work. These are entrepreneurs. Regulated street vending policy that's now moved forward and supported by both the county and the city.